My name is Beston. I live in Cape Town. Also, I do delivery. Interbet helped me to realize my dreams. Now I have my own delivery vehicle and I'm able to do the removal in and around Cape Town.
Are we on to race number 8, and this is over 1600 meters. It's a fillies and mares 68 handicap, and if you're running in the exotics going into the lucky last, well, this is an absolute nightmare to try and narrow down your selection. All the best here. I mean, if you are running in the exotics, be it the place accumulator, the pick 6, the jackpot 2, the last pick 3, you're going to have to load up here. Now, on those trips to PE, Sheldon, and I like speaking about them because they're wonderful memories. The one thing that I just over time gathered that when it comes to the last race and the visiting jockeys that haven't had a winner, it is a mad scramble to the line because, you know, it's a long trip now. You've paid for your way to get there and you haven't had a winner the whole day. I tend to go for the guys that haven't had a winner, especially the visiting. It's just my play. Over the years, it just became my play, and it seems to work out because those are I'm not saying they're trying the hardest, but they're more desperate to win, and they are giving it their all. It's very exciting, the last race, because you often find that it's a blanket finish.
Yes, it's called the Get Out Stakes, and for the formula that works for you, you stick with it in that. Sure. So obviously those guys who have hit a blank up until that stage, when they get into the ring, they put their jockey silks on. They know that they still got the flight to pay for. They've still got to get home, the petrol to pay for, and they're giving that extra 110% just to try and extricate more out of their mounts. And it often does end up in a blanket finish, and a few of the guys riding for luck, and one or two of them trying to dart away at the top of the lane. So I think it's going to be very tactical.
It's just things that you pick up as a pilot. I mean, everyone's got their way of doing things. I mean, it's just something that I picked up and it's just stuck with me from all those years gone by. But coming back to race number 8, I can't narrow it down. In fact, when I wrote my numbers down and I tried to dissect the form, how many runners go to post here? There's 13 runners go to post. So I'm going to take a stance. I'm going to just include numbers 1 through to 6, which brings in my rule. It's less than half the field. So I'm going to include numbers 1 through to 6 in the pick 6, and just fingers crossed. If we're running, I think numbers 1 through to 6 could be good enough. If you're wanting one more runner from me, you say, okay, give us one more runner. I think it'll be number 8, Silver Slippers. And do you have a roving bank or anything?
Yes, Dees, interesting enough, you've gone numbers 1 through to 6. So number 6, Opera Swing, I think could represent the value in the race. Last time out, Sandile Kati Road went 5th behind them. Once again, Sandile Kati jumps aboard. That was behind Vida Futura. Penultimate run was a good second to Master's Queen. Looking at the draw in midfield, the best rating achieved was an 80. She's racing off a 64 year. So Sandile Kati for the Jacques Stratum stable. I think this could be the roving banker. But as you mentioned earlier on, the lucky last, a tough race to get involved with. And certainly all of those riders with a blank, they're driving extra hard.
Yeah, they're driving extra hard. And I think in closing, guys, it looks like a tough race. All the best. Sheldon has given his roving banker number 6, Opera Swing. I think just in closing, we know that there are stable jockeys that are used for respective stables around the country. And even in Port Elizabeth, down in P, we got the stables that engage certain jockeys. But if there's one centre in the country where it's not cut and dry, you can't say Richard Fourie is on the right horse for Alan Creef. It is Port Elizabeth. I have no doubt about that. I mean, when a stable has 3 or 4 runners, all their runners have to be respected.
100% right. They've all been prepped for that specific race, whether the favourite, the stable jockey's on the horse, or you got a horse at 12, 14 to 1, and one of the guys been doing all the work on that horse. You've got to give them healthy respect, and it's not cut and dried. It's not an exact science.
Yeah, it's that's one centre I can tell you that. Don't read too much into the riding arrangement. It is a guide, no doubt about it. It is a guide, but it's not something that's cast in stone there, because when the stables are sending out runners, and this is through experience over years, all these runners are definitely trying, but usually they will be on the right horse. But are they on the right horse that arrives? Well, that's for you to decide. Absolute pleasure working alongside Sheldon Peters for this race meeting from Port Elizabeth, Fairview, now known as Kabeja. And all the best if you're racing on Friday. For Sheldon Peters, GTV, and myself, Deez Dardan, you take care. Salaninga Ashle.
It's good fun. Days like these are great. You get the whole industry together, and to have, companies and corporations like Interbet and Cape Racing who are so generous with sort of time and energy into making a day like this possible is it's fantastic for everyone.